The days that followed Christmas frequently appeared to merge, elongating the joyous season into the serene embrace of winter's chill. This year, in contrast, carried a distinct essence. My son Oliver, now 18, had transformed into a self-assured and autonomous young man standing taller than me and exuding a grace that I found truly admirable. His suggestion to rent a trailer and escape to the mountains for a week took me by surprise. "It'll be good for both of us, Mom," he said, a smile gracing his lips that echoed the boyish charm he once wielded to charm his way out of mischief. "Only you and I, amidst snowy trails, cozy fires, and a sense of tranquility." Refusal was not an option. After the whirlwind of the holidays, the thought of a serene week in the mountains beckoned with an undeniable allure. We traveled with minimal baggage, carrying cozy garments, a selection of board games, and a handful of books for serene nights. Oliver took charge of the planning, arranging the trailer, mapping out the route, and even assembling a playlist for the trip. The journey stretched on, yet it was a visual feast. The frost-laden trees flanking the road appeared as if plucked from the pages of a postcard. Upon our arrival at a quaint hidden trailer park, nestled within a snowy valley, a deep sense of tranquility washed over me. The scene was nothing short of paradise. Only we remained surrounded by the towering mountains and the soft, comforting crackle of the fire. With each passing day, the bond between us grew in ways we had never anticipated. We spent our mornings wandering through tranquil woods, our lunches graced by steaming mugs of cocoa, and our evenings by the campfire, transformed into moments of heartfelt conversation. Conversations that once seemed superficial, in the confines of home, now unfolded. With a natural grace, Oliver revealed his aspirations, anxieties, and even aspects of his life he had long kept to himself. I discovered that my perspective on him had shifted, not merely as the boy I had nurtured, but as the man he was evolving into. His demeanor exuded a quiet resilience, a confidence that I found admirable. It occurred to me how seldom I had relied on him since the separation from his father. As dusk settled in, we made our way back to the trailer, our cheeks aglow from the chill of the evening air. After a long and exhausting hike, Oliver was determined to take charge of dinner preparations, a straightforward yet delightful pasta creation. As we dined, beneath the gentle illumination of an electric lantern, I observed how his presence seamlessly enveloped the "Thank you for this, Allie," I remarked, invoking a childhood nickname that had nearly slipped from my memory. This was an exquisite notion. His cerulean gaze locked onto mine, and for an instant, the atmosphere crackled with intensity. He spoke gently. "It's nice just being with you, Mom. It seems we have become so entangled in the whirlwind of life that we have lost the art of genuine conversation with one another." His words resonated deeply. He was indeed correct amidst the demands of schoolwork and the relentless tide of daily responsibilities. Instances of true connection had grown increasingly scarce. On that night, with the fire's gentle crackle echoing in the stillness and the wind's mournful howl weaving through the air, we found ourselves enveloped in a tranquil silence. As Oliver immersed himself in his book, I found my gaze wandering to the window, where snowflakes floated gently down, creating a serene blanket on the earth below. A profound sense of gratitude washed over me for him, for the man he was destined to be, and for the dedication he had invested in bringing this journey to fruition. It was an aspect of him I had yet to fully uncover, one that laid bare the depth of his appreciation for our bond. The mountains exuded a silent enchantment, every instant spent there reminiscent of a tale woven from the fabric of dreams. Oliver appeared resolute in his quest to etch the week into memory. The dawn following our poignant exchange greeted me with the alluring scent of freshly brewed coffee. As I opened my eyes, I found Oliver framed in the doorway of the small sleeping nook, a steaming mug cradled in his hand, and a mischievous smile dancing on his lips. "Good morning, sleepyhead," he playfully chided. "You truly deserve breakfast and bed for being the most incredible hiking companion." I chuckled softly, wrapping the warm blanket snugly around myself. "So now I'm considered the ultimate hiking companion. It appears that you were expressing your grievances throughout the entirety of the last mile yesterday." He let out a soft laugh, passing the mug to me. "That was a calculated approach to bring you joy and sustain our momentum. I possess a certain selflessness in my nature." The coffee was exquisite, precisely how I preferred it, and a surge of gratitude enveloped me. In the cozy stillness of the trailer, with snow cloaking the landscape beyond, it seemed as though the outside world had vanished, leaving only the two of us in this serene moment. "Thank you," I murmured, locking eyes with him. "This is truly delightful." He shrugged, yet his gaze remained fixed. "You truly deserve this, Mom. You dedicate yourself tirelessly to the needs of others. Now, is the moment for you to receive the care you deserve." His words resonated within me. As we basked in the cozy embrace of the trailer, that morning subsequently, Oliver proposed the idea of venturing onto another nearby trail, wrapped snugly against the biting chill of winter. We embarked on our journey, the crisp crunch of snow underfoot, the sole sound echoing through the tranquil woods. The stroll was nothing short of exquisite. Prolonged moments of silence, punctuated by his witty quips and light-hearted comments. He playfully mocked my excessive bundling, noting how my limited mobility and the frost adorning my hat made me resemble a character straight out of a survival film. I playfully swatted at him, and his laughter rang out among the trees. Yet as dusk descended, the day veered into uncharted territory. As we made our way back to the trailer, traversing a particularly treacherous stretch of the trail, my foot unexpectedly lost its grip, sending me crashing down onto my side, a jolt of pain radiating up my leg. Mother Oliver was by my side in an instant, his hands firm yet tender, as he assisted me in sitting up. "Are you feeling all right? What hurts?" he inquired, his voice strained with worry. My leg, I flinched, trying to shift it, yet the pain was piercing and ceaseless. "I believe I may have twisted it." With unwavering certainty, he lifted me effortlessly into his embrace, as though I were but a feather. He spoke with unwavering conviction, warning, "Don't even think about walking on it, Oliver." "I'm all right," I insisted softly. Without room for debate, he interjected, his tone gentle yet firm. "You may think you're fine, but I refuse to stand by and watch you spiral further into this." With a playful smirk, he continued, "After all, I've been hitting the gym just for occasions like this." In the midst of my suffering, his light-hearted quip brought a smile to my face. His warmth cut through the icy air, and the steady grip he had on me enveloped me in a sense of safety I hadn't experienced in years. Upon our return to the trailer, Oliver gently set me down on the modest couch, elevating my leg with a pillow and securing it with a makeshift ice pack. "We'll head home tomorrow," he said, crouching beside me. "Yet this evening you shall remain right where you are. If you require assistance, feel free to reach out." As the evening unfolded, weariness crept in, yet the persistent throb in my leg left me unsettled. At a certain moment during the night, I found myself awakening trembling, as a profound cold enveloped me, even in the supposed comfort of the trailer's warmth. A throbbing ache resonated in my head, accompanied by a heavy sense of dawning awareness. A fever had taken hold of me. "Oliver," I called softly, my voice scarcely rising above a whisper. In mere moments he stood next to me, concern carved into his features. "What seems to be the matter, mother?" he inquired, his fingers lightly grazing my forehead. "You're ablaze, yet you're chilled to the bone." Wait a moment. Before I could voice my protest, he slipped into the bed beside me, encircling me with his arms, and drawing the blanket snugly over us both. "You need to get warm," he said simply, his voice steady and imbued with concern. The warmth of his body enveloped me, dispelling the lingering chills. As I nestled my head against his chest, attuned to the soothing cadence of his heartbeat, his hand glided in gentle, rhythmic motions across my back, dissolving my worries like mist in the morning sun. "Thank you," I whispered, my voice thick with drowsiness. "Always," he murmured gently, his lips grazing my hair. In a subtle expression of tenderness, "I will forever look after you." In the quiet of the night, enveloped in his embrace, I experienced an unexpected intimacy, a connection that had deepened in ways I struggled to express. After years of resistance, I finally embraced the experience of being nurtured, surrendering to the comforting realization that I was not alone. As I surrendered to slumber, my thoughts wandered to the profound ways this journey had transformed my outlook, not solely on Oliver, but on the bond we forged together. The following morning, I stirred from slumber to the subtle scent of something delectable wafting through the air. Though my legs continued to throb, the enveloping warmth of the blankets and the soothing aroma transformed the pain into something more tolerable. With deliberate caution, I propped myself up, a twinge of discomfort accompanying the motion. My gaze fell upon Oliver, who stood at the diminutive kitchen counter, his back turned to me, softly humming as he busied himself with the cooking. "Good morning," called my voice carrying a hint of hoarse. He pivoted, his expression blossoming into a radiant smile. "Good morning, dreamer. Breakfast is nearly prepared. How do you find yourself feeling today?" "It aches," I confessed, "yet it's an improvement from last night." He nodded, a furrow forming on his brow, as worry etched itself across his face. I prepared a delightful breakfast of eggs and toast. "I'll prepare a plate for you. But once we finished our meal, we'll be making our way to the hospital." Without a hint of disagreement, I let out a soft chuckle. Moved by the warmth of his protective tone, I would never entertain the thought of engaging in an argument. Faithful to his promise, he placed a plate in front of me, and insisted on assisting with every detail, even as I held the plate steady while eating. His attentiveness ignited a warmth within me, and as I observed him tidying up afterward, an indescribable affection blossomed in my heart. "Thank you," I said, locking eyes with him as he shifted his attention my way. "For what?" he inquired, a gentle smile gracing his lips. "For the exceptional care you've shown me, for simply being yourself." His gaze held mine for a fleeting moment, before he nodded, a subtle flush creeping across his cheeks. "Without a doubt, Mom." The descent from the mountain unfolded quietly. The snow-laden scenery, as stunning as it had always been. Oliver stole glances in my direction, his concern evident as he sought to ensure my comfort. His hand would occasionally graze mine, while he fiddled with the heater settings. He even bypassed tracks on the playlist that he believed could irritate me. When we finally arrived at the hospital, fatigue had settled deep within me. Oliver assisted me from the car, his steady hand resting on my shoulder. As we made our way inside, the doctors attending to my leg with careful scrutiny. "This merely a bad sprain," the doctor spoke gently, securing my leg with a comforting bandage. "Take a break for a few days, and you'll feel rejuvenated." Oliver let out a sigh of relief, and I found myself unable to suppress a laugh. "You seem more relieved than I actually feel," I teased. "There must be someone who cares enough to be concerned for your well-being," he retorted with a playful smirk. Upon our return home, a profound sense of gratitude washed over me, enveloping me in the comfort of familiar surroundings. Oliver guided me to the couch, draping blankets over me, pouring a cup of tea, and handing me the remote. Before slipping away into the kitchen, "You don't have to do everything," I called after him. "You deserve to be spoiled," he said, peeking around the corner with a playful grin. "Allow me to be the one to nurture you for once." And indeed he tended to my needs. In the days that followed, he scarcely allowed me to engage in any activity. He prepared meals, organized the space, and even settled next to me, providing companionship as I indulged in my favorite shows. It was difficult to remember the last occasion when I felt so cherished, and this sensation was one I hadn't recognized. I longed for, yet the true pivotal moment arrived a few nights later. We found ourselves nestled on the couch, the warm glow of the television weaving soft shadows throughout the space. With my leg propped up on a pillow, Oliver lounged beside me, his arm resting nonchalantly along the back of the couch. The stillness enveloping us felt effortless, a rare tranquility that arises when two souls are completely at ease in one another's presence. Suddenly he broke the silence with his words. "Mom," he said, his voice carrying an unexpected weight, "I have something important to share with you." I turned to face him, my heart racing at the weight of his words. "What is it, Ali?" I inquired, a sense of unease creeping in. He paused, his gaze falling to his hands. Before rising to connect with mine, he started. "I've been contemplating our relationship, reflecting on the ways in which recent experiences have shifted." In their essence, my breath hitched, my heart racing. "In what way does it differ?" I succeeded in asking, my voice trembling slightly. He leaned forward just a bit, his expression candid and unshaken. He confessed, "I care about you deeply. Beyond the role of just being my mom, I'm aware that the situation is intricate, and perhaps I shouldn't express this. Yet I find myself compelled to say that I love you, not merely as family, but as an individual I hold in high regard, someone I admire and respect." His voice softened, "A person I yearn to connect with on every level." The atmosphere surrounding us vibrated with an electric tension, his revelation suspended in the air, unguarded and exposed. My heart raced as I endeavored to grasp his words, the intensity of his emotions, and the bravery it must have required to voice them. "Oliver," I started, my voice quivering. I hesitated, caught in a whirlwind of feelings, struggling to find the right words to articulate the tumult within me. In the days that had passed, he had become my anchor, a wellspring of solace and tenderness, and beneath the surface, I was aware that I felt something as well, a notion I had refrained from acknowledging. "It's okay," he said swiftly, a subtle, nearly self-aware smile playing at the corners of his mouth. He lifted a hand as though to halt my advance. "I find myself compelled to share this. It has become too heavy to bear alone." Tears welled at the edges of my vision as I extended my hand to grasp his, intertwining our fingers. In a moment of silent connection, "You hold an immense place in my heart, Oliver," I murmured, my voice heavy with feeling, beyond what I could ever express in language. "What we share is extraordinary, and I hold it dear." His grip on my hand grew firmer, his eyes probing mine for something I wasn't certain I could offer. Yet in that instant, a singular truth emerged with striking clarity. No matter the path we were about to tread, we would face it side by side. His confession rendered me breathless, his words hanging in the air like the gentlest snowfall, unexpected, beautiful, and deeply profound. His earnest blue eyes remained fixed on mine, brimming with a quiet hope that both comforted and disturbed me. Instinctively, I leaned in and enveloped him in a warm embrace, my arms securing him, as if releasing him could fracture the delicate instant we had stumbled upon. His embrace was unwavering and reassuring, his warmth surrounding me entirely. In that fleeting instant, all else faded into insignificance. Forget the intricacies, forget the inquiries. Simply the two of us. You mean everything to me as well, Oliver, I murmured, my voice trembling with feeling. It is important for you to understand this. His arms enveloped me more firmly, drawing me in even tighter. I was so scared to tell you, he admitted softly, his words muffled against my shoulder, but I couldn't keep it in anymore. With a soft motion, I reclined slightly to catch his gaze, my fingers gliding through his hair, in a familiar gesture I had repeated many times during his childhood. This time, however, carried a distinct quality, infused with a tenderness that resonated profoundly. You're courageous, I murmured softly, more courageous than I have ever been, and regardless of the circumstances, I stand by your side. A subtle yet authentic smile blossomed on his lips as he met my eyes, his earnestness igniting a comforting warmth inside me. We lingered in that embrace for a few more moments, enveloped in each other's warmth, until I shifted slightly, a wince escaping me as my injured leg pulsed with pain. Allow me to assist, he said without hesitation, his worry resurfacing, as he gently guided me back onto the couch. With a deft hand, he repositioned the pillow under my leg, his movements imbued with a familiarity that caught me off guard. Then unexpectedly he began to caress my leg, his touch tender and calming. Is this painful? He inquired, his fingers gliding along the perimeter of the bandage, mindful to steer clear of the inflamed region. No, I responded, shaking my head in disbelief. Truly feels pleasant. His touch radiated tenderness, enveloping me in a sense of not only physical care, but profound cherishment. It was not merely the comfort it provided for my injury. It was the intensity of his gaze, as if nothing else in existence held greater significance than ensuring my well-being. Emotions surged within me, and I found myself unable to resist the urge to reach out and caress his cheek. You've been so good to me, Oliver, I murmured, my voice quivering just a bit. I'm not sure how fortune smiled upon me. His hand paused briefly, and he lifted his gaze to meet mine, his expression a mystery. It is in mere chance, mother, he murmured gently, simply as it has always been. An unvoiced connection lingered in the air, a subtle comprehension that neither of us sought to express. Instead, I surrendered to the comforting warmth of his presence, the gentle rhythmic motion of his hand on my leg, soothing me into an uncommon tranquility. Would you like me to spend the night with you? After a prolonged silence, he inquired with a hint of hesitation, his voice laced with caution, as if uncertain of how I would respond. I nodded my agreement, immediate and unwavering. Indeed, that sounds appealing. His smile was subtle, nearly bashful. He carefully arranged the blankets around me and switched off the television, casting the room into a gentle twilight, with only the soft glow of the lamp on the side table to light the serene atmosphere. Oliver settled next to me, his fingers gently weaving beneath the blanket. To seek out my own, I nestled against him, allowing my head to find solace on his shoulder. The silence lingered, yet it held no discomfort. It was a silence rich with comprehension, emotions so profound they eluded expression. With my eyes closed, I surrendered to the calm, embraced by the gentle cadence of his breath beside me. In the days that followed, an imperceptible, yet unmistakable change unfolded between us. It wasn't sudden or theatrical, yet it lingered intricately interlaced within the mundane moments we experienced together. The way his hand lingered in mine, just a moment longer as he guided me to the kitchen, or how I found myself lost in his gaze, experiencing a warmth that transcended mere maternal pride. Each evening, we settled next to each other on the couch, the intimacy between us growing in a manner that was both instinctive and strangely new, though we never spoke of it openly. An unspoken bond lingered between us, intensifying with every day that unfolded. One evening, as we lingered in a cozy stillness, Oliver leaned in, catching me off guard, as he gently rested his head against mine. Have you ever pondered what our lives might resemble if it were solely the two of us? He inquired softly, his voice scarcely rising above a murmur. I glanced at him, my heart tightening at the raw vulnerability etched across his face. Could you clarify what you mean? I inquired softly. He paused, his fingers nervously toying with the edge of the blanket. Honestly, without any expectations. There's no one else to concern myself with, only you and I nurturing one another. His words washed over me, stirring a tempest of conflicting emotions, a whirlwind of feelings I found difficult to decipher at once. That sounds serene, I confessed quietly. Yet life is far from straightforward. Oliver, you're aware of that. I do, he said, a slight nod accompanying his unwavering gaze. Yet I find myself yearning for it to be otherwise. Uncertain of how to reply, I chose instead to extend my hand, intertwining my fingers with his. No matter what unfolds, I declared, my tone resolute, we will navigate this together. He gazed at me. Then, his eyes, glimmering with an emotion I couldn't quite articulate, yet resonated within me profoundly. I don't think I've ever loved anyone the way I love you, he said quietly, his words emerging as a confession, rather than just a simple statement. My heart swelled, and without a second thought, I drew him into an embrace. Holding him tightly as if releasing him might fracture the delicate moment we were experiencing, his arms encircled me with a fierce intensity, as though he shared the same dread of time, eluding our grasp. I love you too. I murmured, the significance of the words dawning on me. In that fleeting moment, it transcended mere affection. It was a vow commitment, etched in the heart,